Welcome to the Christian Business Advantage Podcast, the podcast for Christian authors, speakers, coaches, and virtual assistants. I'm your host, longtime virtual assistant, author, and speaker, Alicia Avant. On this podcast, we'll talk about how to build an online presence through email marketing, social media marketing, content repurposing, and building and maintaining your website. After serving Christian authors and speakers for over a decade, I have learned a great deal about their greatest needs, and it continues to be a privilege to serve them. Welcome to the podcast. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Christian Business Advantage Podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Avant, and I am so glad you're here. This month, we're diving into a brand new series all about the few things that actually matter in book marketing. Because let's be honest, there is so much noise out there, and it can feel like you need to be on every platform, posting constantly, learning new strategies, and still not seeing the results that you want. But here's the truth. Most authors don't have a marketing problem. They have a clarity problem, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we are starting our new series for the month of April, which is called The Few Things That Actually Matter in Book Marketing. And today's episode is the foundation that most authors skip. We're going to talk about why unclear messaging can sabotage your marketing. So before we talk about strategies and platforms and tactics, we have to start with your message. Because if your message isn't clear, then your audience won't connect with you, your audience won't understand who you're for, and your book won't convert readers into anything more than just that. So you can be showing up consistently and you can be doing, all the right things, but people, if they don't get it, they won't take the next step. And I see this all the time with authors and speakers and coaches, and they'll say things like, I wrote a book about faith, or it's a devotional, or it's about my journey. And those things may be true, but they're not clear enough to move somebody to action. Because your audience isn't asking, what is this about? They're asking, is this for me? And will it help me? So we need to distinguish between what your book is about versus what your book does. So that is where you have to make an important distinction. There is a difference between what your book is about and what your book actually does. So let me give you an example. You might say, my book is about trusting God in difficult seasons. So that's the topic of your book. But what it does might be, this book helps overwhelmed Christian women find peace and trust again when life seems out of control. So do you see the difference there? One is informational and one is transformational. And as we talked about all during the month of March, transformation is what people are actually looking for. So your reader is thinking, will this help me feel better? Will this solve a problem that I'm facing? Will this meet me where I am? So if your messaging doesn't clearly answer those questions, then your marketing will feel harder than it needs to be. So let's make this really practical. If you take nothing else away from this episode, I want you to walk away with this simple framework. So you might want to grab a pen and paper. I help blank go from blank to blank so they can blank. So let me say that again. I help blank go from blank to blank so that they can blank. And I will fill in or help you fill in what goes in those blanks. So in the first blank, you put I help and you put who you serve. So Christian authors, speakers, and coaches, in my case, go from their struggle to their transformation so they can the result. So let me give you some examples. Here's what that could look like. I help busy Christian women go from feeling overwhelmed and disconnected to experiencing peace and purpose in their daily lives so they can show up fully for their families. Or I help Christian women who feel stuck in their faith go from doubt and discouragement to renewed trust in God so that they can move forward with confidence. So this becomes your foundation of your book marketing, your content, your emails, your speaking, your offers. Everything flows from this clarity that you get from creating that I help statement. And we do this in business. I have an I help statement for my virtual assistant business. So this needs to be done. A lot of times authors don't feel like they're business owners, but we absolutely are. And so we have to come from that standpoint. So here's what I want you to hear. You do not need more marketing tactics right now. You need clearer messaging, a clearer audience, and a clearer transformation. Because when you have that, your content becomes easier to create. Your audience will start to respond to you, and your book becomes more than just a book. It becomes a bridge. And that bridge leads to a deeper connection with your audience. It leads to greater impact and even opportunities like speaking or coaching or a course. But if you feel stuck, don't worry, because clarity doesn't come all at once. Sometimes it comes as you take action, as you have conversations with people, as you pay attention to what resonates with people. So don't feel like you have to get this perfect before you can move forward, but do take time to get it clear. Because this is the foundation that most authors skip, and it's the reason that so many feel like their marketing isn't working. So I want to encourage you to sit down this week and ask yourself, number one, what does my book actually do for the person reading it? And what transformation am I helping them experience? And then try filling in that framework that I help. I help blank go from blank to blank so they can blank. You might be surprised at how much clarity that brings. And next week, we're going to talk about something very practical. Why getting to 50 Amazon reviews matters more than you think, and how to actually make that happen. So you don't want to miss it. But if this episode was helpful, I'd love for you to share it with a fellow author or leave a review. It helps people find the show. And if you're ready for support in clarifying your message and building a simple and sustainable marketing system, you can learn more about how my team and I at Alicia Avant & Company can help you at aliciaavantandcompany.com. Thanks so much for listening, and I will see you next time.